shadow of death.
Hey everyone, this is Fi. I'm checking out the Ballad of Deadeye Chambers. Apparently I have to talk over this person singing, which is a little bit awkward. Um,
Man is born to rise.
it's strange to hear this song in a game like this, but I'm gonna go ahead and try to read the game page here. This is the Ballad of Deadeye Chambers. Don't get too close to enemies. Their melee attack is a one-hit kill after a split-second grace period. There's no intro scene, so the story is you've been killed and woken in a strange place in underworld level to teach the basic mechanics. There's no pause menu either, so to exit you'll have to die or win or to get back to the main menu. Also, the enemies might bug out and not die sometimes, and one green guy walks on air because his nav mesh didn't work properly. Alright, so this is obviously something early, but actually I don't even know what genre of game this is or anything, but we're going to go ahead and give this a shot and see what we can come up with. Let's just go ahead and click on play. I'm not seeing anything past the screen. Alright, I've got my mouse smack in the middle, which I can't move, but I also, it's clearly on the screen here. Press D to walk right. Wow, that's fast. Alright, so I could deduce that A was going to be left. Oh, okay, A to walk left is kind of partially obscured by the terrain here. So yeah, we move without any sort of inertia, which is interesting, and I don't mind that. That's nice and responsive. Press Q to pick up item. Okay, spacebar is apparently jump. Jump is real floaty though. So yeah, I find myself not liking the camera. It's quite laggy and looks like there might be some kind of camera zones or something going on here. Looks like I can kind of clip through this platform a bit if I run into it from the side like this. It's kind of silly. But yeah, I would increase the velocity of the jump for both upwards and downwards directions here. But yeah, the camera, so usually games like this give you a little more. Oh, okay, so I tried to jump up here and I'm sticking against the wall, so that's a bit unfortunate. Usually with regards to the camera, you have like a little sort of dead zone in the center of the screen. So the camera isn't moving around every single time you move necessarily. It's more like when you get to the edge of the dead zone, then it'll kind of get dragged along with you. And maybe I would suggest toning down the amount of lag on the camera there, maybe a little bit. Press left shift to sprint. Sprinting and jumping will clear wide gaps. So I feel like this left and right movement is already pretty fast, and this is very fast. Looks like we made it here. Press left control to use your shield. I don't like how this is kind of obscured. Your shield absorbs enemy shots and adds to your ammo, but once your ammo is full, it will overflow and hurt you. Alright, does this support gamepad? Okay, it looks like the one of the buttons jumps, but the rest of the input isn't implemented here. So let's get rid of the gamepad. It would be nice to be able to use a gamepad for a platformer like this. So yeah, so we've got... Oh, okay. I guess I lost focus of the window here. I can't... I don't know, can you see the little Xbox thing? Wait, alright. Sorry about that, okay. Got that taken care of. So, interesting choice of controls. I can't say I like having to reach for the control key for something like this. I'd rather this was on like a more accessible button like the E or the F. Looks like E does something. Shift for run is okay. Spacebar for jump is okay. I don't mind using control necessarily, but it just seems a little strange for this particular function. Press Q to interact. Alright, we got a door opening. This looks like a door here, but I guess I can't interact with that. I don't know what's going on the top of the screen instead of ceiling. The camera also follows you like when you jump. gonna be nice to have a little bit of a dead zone there. I'd like to be able to see down here just to make it a little clearer whether or not that was like going to lead to death or if there might be something down there. Wow, can I sprint in midair? I can sprint in midair. That's quite strange. I can also sprint in place if I press A and D at the same time. So feels weird when I'm landing while sprinting. Some kind of an illusion or something. I feel like I'm floating a bit off the ground. I don't know what that was. Your gun can hold 3 types of ammo at once. Use the ammo color that matches the enemy's color. Now, oh, I have a gun here. Okay. So I didn't have that when I read this, but so it's giving me information about the gun, but it hasn't told me how to use the gun. Is that on the E key? Your gun can hold 3 types of ammo. Use the ammo color that matches the enemy's color. This information isn't immediately relevant to me because I don't even know like how to shoot the gun or any of the controls or anything. So purple ammo. Click left mouse to shoot at purple enemies. Okay. The mouse is not on the screen anymore. That's nice. Yeah. So there's a weird kind of effect when you hit the ground and then it's like you slow down and then you kind of slowly hover into collision with the ground again. It's kind of weird. Alright, so that time I fell because I walked off the ledge before I pressed spacebar. Something that's really nice to have in platforming games like this is ledge forgiveness, or sometimes called coyote time, where just a few frames after you walk off a ledge you can press spacebar and it'll still do a jump. That'll prevent this kind of thing from happening where it just feels really kind of wrong when you try to jump at the edge of a platform and it just doesn't go through. Sometimes it's like down to like the input latency. Okay, so that bullet ran into me. My first instinct was to like duck under it, but you don't have ducking in this game, so it looked like it was like at the perfect height. But I'd want to duck to avoid it. Jumping is a little slow. I mean, that's a pretty fast bullet. I didn't even see that. Whoa, see the guy. So if I'm running away and I press jump, it seems to work. But if I just stand here and try to jump to avoid that, I'm probably not going to make it. So, yeah, you might want to consider how you want the player to be able to avoid this stuff and like the best way to execute that. So 2 simple ways would be being able to duck under it, being able to jump over it with the jump. If the jump was faster, that would help to actually be able to do that more successfully. Another thing is I think this bullet's pretty fast, especially for like the first enemy you encounter. Generally with these sorts of games, I would suggest making the enemies' projectiles move a good bit slower than what you've got here. I think that would just work better. So I still don't know what the button. Oh wait, it said click the mouse button, right? Came out of my guy's face, it looked like. Oh, I don't have to press E. I don't know what E is doing, but oh, okay. So he takes multiple hits. It's frustrating how he can apparently shoot at me while he's off the screen, and I can also apparently shoot at him while he's off the screen. So it doesn't really feel good to have this kind of interaction where you can't really see what you're interacting with. I used up all my bullets. I think my very last bullet ended up killing him, which is a little bit. I feel like we're a little bit tight on resources here. Now there's another enemy. I don't have any more bullets, so I don't know what. Can I even like? Do I just try to run past this guy? Oh, he turns around instantly. Might want to make him relax a bit in that regard. Oh, I can't duck under that. Um, yo, oh no. Jump. Apparently I can go up here. This is weird, but it's helpful. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of really fast projectiles. All right. So yeah, it's kind of weird. I just like ran out of bullets and then couldn't really do anything. I don't know how to interact with the screen. I don't have a mouse, and the buttons aren't working. So I think that might have been something that was mentioned in the game page. I'm just gonna Alt F4. Is that on here? This is to exit. You'll have to die or win to get back to the main menu. But dying, I couldn't interact with that menu, unfortunately, so it didn't quite work out that way. But let's go ahead and run this again and see if we can be a little more successful at that part. Make sure this is... Oh, can I get my mouse back? Alright. We're in business. I don't know what this item is that we pick up. Oh, I forgot about the shield. Oh, the shield. Okay. So here's the thing. I was supposed to use the shield, but by the time I got to the part I was supposed to use it, I completely forgot about it. Obviously, I'm sitting here talking and stuff, which is the relevant factor in all this, because I'm not just playing the game. I'm taking longer than I would otherwise, but when you're teaching the player how to play, you really want to put this information in the context where it's most relevant. So, telling the player how the shield works, like right at the start, when you don't actually have to use this until like a ways later in the level, when it like suddenly becomes relevant, it makes it really easy for the player to just like completely forget about this. It's just at the point that you're giving the player this information, it's basically useless information to them until like later it becomes useful, and then it's like it's hard for the player to remember. People aren't that efficient at storing information that isn't useful to them at that moment in time. It's like it kind of activates your mental filters, like, okay, this might just be junk information, don't waste brain resources on storing and dealing with this kind of thing. Alright, so I'm supposed to pick this up. Alright, interesting buttons here. Alright, we can get some purple here. Alright, mouse button. Alright, I can't jump right now. I guess I'm not actually on the surface there, even though I wasn't falling, so that was kind of janky. So, yeah, this would have been good to know. I guess I can just stand here like this, right? And eventually this guy's gonna shoot at me. Where? Oh. I guess the AI might be... Wait a minute. Okay. Okay, so there's this mechanic where it gets overfilled and it kills you. I forgot about that. I also... Yeah, it's whatever. I was trying to test things out. I guess I have to Alt F4 this again. I'll have to run it over again. But yeah, so I didn't really work out how the AI was working in the past. But apparently you have to get within like a certain range and then it just starts spamming bullets rather quickly. But before it seemed like it was almost sort of sporadic. I kind of expected him to start shooting at me a little bit earlier. Let me double check something real quick here. All right. So. Yeah, as far as like when the meter gets overfilled and it starts hurting your health, it would be nice to have would be nice to have a bit more feedback in terms of like once that starts happening, you might want to like, tell the player, warn the player with some audio-visual effects, that sort of thing. Be nice. That's interesting. So I'm assuming that the door extends all the way up here. It's kind of strange. This guy's shooting a lot slower. I can't figure out if he like actually knows I'm holding the shield. Oh my gosh. The melee attack is supposed to be one hit kill. I wonder why he's not shooting more. Now he's shooting. Sometimes they just stop and they just start spamming, and then I guess they don't while they're walking or whatever. Why isn't he taking damage? He just stopped taking damage. Oh, I think he's a bit bugged out. He's doing his melee attack. He wouldn't die when I was shooting him. It's kind of strange. Oh gosh. Might be nice if this just picked up without having to press the button. Like if you just jump on it. I need this guy to shoot me because I can't I can't do anything else. Alright. I have to shift my finger to the shift key. So that's a little bit awkward. Like if I need to use shift, I can't use the control key. So if I'm in this kind of tight scenario where I'm like trying to defend against this enemy, but then I want to quickly do a dash for whatever reason, I have to like shift my finger to a different key, and it's a little bit disadvantageous versus, you know, using keys that you can kind of press simultaneously. Like I can press shift and like use E and F and Q without having to like shift finger positions. I do have to shift off of the directional keys in that case, but you know, it depends on which thing you're doing, I guess, at any point in time. This guy is green. Wait, whoa, I can't really see down here before I jumped. Oh no. There was a lot of... It seemed like I got hit a lot of times in really fast succession here. I can't interact with the screen, unfortunately. Oh. Oh, okay. I think I have mouse control in this menu, but it just doesn't render the mouse. I think that's what's going on. So if I move the mouse around enough, I can eventually highlight. Yay! Alright, I did it. Where's the part where it explains the shield? Thought it was right when you pick it up. Did I? Yeah, it's right here. Okay. So yeah, it's a little strange. Oh, I can shield while jumping, but there's like a moment where he puts it down. Then he puts it up again, so that's interesting. Alright, used all the ammo up here. Okay, I'm pressing Q. I wasn't picking that up. Apparently the collider's a little particular on that key. And you can make that a bit bigger so you don't have to be like completely overlapping it to hit it there, I guess. Gosh, I think I have to sprint jump here. I think I managed to get hit by that bullet and absorb it with the shield. Do both. I don't think you want that to be possible, probably. I'm assuming you'd want it to be one or the other. Not a lot of room here. This guy is just like immediately there when I try to jump down here. So I'm gonna have to do like a blind jump in here. Oh gosh, that guy's kind of floating around. Oh my gosh, this is actually pretty hard. Whoa! I guess I get hit by one of those melee attacks. It's pretty annoying. In this particular situation, it's like really close quarters all of a sudden. Navigating around those little platforms, trying to engage the enemies, so like having a one-hit kill melee attack in that kind of scenario, maybe not the best choice. So it's kind of weird to just use Q as the main interaction button instead of like F or E or whatever. Shoot me. It's kind of annoying when you need them to shoot you and then they don't. Like, what do you do then? Because otherwise they just walk into you and then they melee you. And then you die. Hey, can I Q on this? Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, I can just kind of jump over that. Oh my, whoa, he passes through it too. What the heck? They just go straight through the doors. I'm holding left. I don't want to fall off. No, no, no. I can't do anything. I neither have bullets nor the ability to get any more. Oh my gosh. Alright, I'm just gonna hold shift here. Oh, looks like left mouse button does something. Or right mouse button, sorry. It just holds the gun up. I don't think that actually does anything for the gameplay currently. Oh my gosh, but it might have been nice for... It's interesting, I don't think there's any downside to falling except it just sends you back a little bit. It doesn't count as an actual death, which sends you to this game over screen. Alright. I don't think this guy's gonna shoot at me. Didn't he die a little early? That was all my bullets though. Please shoot more. Keep shooting. You have to be a certain distance before they'll shoot. Like if you're too close, they just walk towards you? Oh, I guess that maybe that's it. It's like a really narrow distance range and then they just spam shots. So I can kind of manipulate them a little bit here. So I can run through them, that's interesting. Actually, I don't want to waste these, but... Well. Click right mouse to shoot it. Oh, I see. We've got different buttons for the different bullet types. I didn't even realize that before now. Might be nice if there's some way to just kind of switch from one to the other and just keep the shot button consistent. Like you could even do the old school like 1, 2, 3 thing. That might be preferable over having 3 different shoot buttons, you know. Oh my gosh, I don't want to... somewhere there's... Oh, there's the key. Whoa, that guy's in the wall. I guess I can... I think I got... I think I might have gotten hit by the melee attack, but there's like a really long delay before it just throws you to the game over screen. So it's hard to really tell what exactly happened there. It's a little bit confusing. Guess there's no death animation currently. Oops. It is nice when you don't... It doesn't just throw you to the game over screen the instant you get hit by a lethal attack, because that's really disorienting, but you also want to like see that you actually died. Oh, got a little stuck on the door there. Oops. Might be nice to have some like health power-ups or something at some point in the level here, especially because it's like the first level I'm encountering here. And that's all the bullets I have, so run back here. See, it's not really obvious the way that these are programmed to behave. Like, it took me a while to figure out how to deal with these enemies because they have some weird properties that aren't really intuitive. Oh. And I kind of wish maybe I could move with the shield. Like, maybe you just have like a movement penalty or something. Maybe I just move like really slow and I can't turn around the other direction while I'm holding it or something. Might feel a little better. What hurt me? I think the bullet got stuck on the wall and then I ran into it or something. Alright, so another little detail that might be nice is if you have this kind of inventory where you can pick up keys and stuff. It'd be nice to show that on the screen somewhere, like if you're holding a key. Alright, now I think I can just kind of run through these guys if I'm careful. The bullets I can't run through though. Oh my gosh, yeah, the bullets are gonna kill me. Alright. Yeah, so the other thing is that they kind of... When you get into the range where they decide to shoot at you, they kind of do it instantly. So it's generally good design practice when designing enemy AI to just kind of program in like little reaction times and stuff, so have like little pauses before the enemy actually takes action, and it just feels a lot better. It doesn't feel so artificial, and it also just makes the game play better because when they have reaction time, then it kind of enables you to have more of a reaction time to what they do, because they're not just like instantly throwing things at you that are like really hard to react to. There's also just really fast bullets. Doesn't help much. Alright. You, sir, are dead. You are also dead. Might be nice if you got a little bit more for each bullet, so you wouldn't have to just sit here for so long while you're recharging, because it's just kind of wasting time. So if you only had to do this like a couple of times, then it would just help the whole game flow a bit better, I think. Alright, and yeah, just like having to actually shift your finger to the Q key to pick this up instead of just walking over it, it's a bit annoying. Alright, managed to do it. Alright. So yeah, these guys, they kind of shoot at you pretty instantaneously when you get in that range, so it's really hard to... Oh no, I think I got hit by one of the melee attacks. Oh my gosh. This is actually very hard at that part. It's just very hard to consistently avoid the damage there. So yeah, I was kind of talking about avoiding damage before. I talked about the idea of like maybe you could jump out of the way, maybe you could duck. It seems like the shield is presented as the only way that really works. Like effectively to avoid the damage from the projectiles at least. but the shield has some pretty strict limitations. So for one thing, as soon as you start moving, the shield becomes useless. It doesn't do anything until you stop moving again. And it only covers you in one direction. So when you're in these situations where there's enemies to the left and to the right and below you, um, it becomes really hard. You have to like land and you have to turn in the right direction. You have to stop and wait for your shield to come up. It's very hard to do that like really quickly, especially with the very fast projectiles and everything else. And part of the problem is when you try to stand still to block a projectile, if there's an enemy to the other side of you, he's like right here. He's just gonna like walk up to you and kill you instantly with a melee attack. So the way that this works, I think, is not really giving you what you need to, to deal with these situations with multiple enemies all around you. Just the way that like kind of everything works together at the same time. So it's really hard to avoid or deal with the projectiles like that when what you might want to do is... It feels like just from the very start, the sort of flow that's being presented to you is this idea that you kind of go in and you wait for the enemy to shoot at you, you block their projectile with the shield, and then you shoot them back, and then you rinse and repeat. Like that seems like the core flow of the combat or whatever. And that's kind of intended here. But when you start throwing in these multiple enemies, and they're all kind of moving around pretty quickly, and they just kind of go straight towards you and then like stab you in the back or whatever. I don't think that flow kind of works because you don't have the time. If there's an enemy on to your right and an enemy to your left, if you want to deal with the enemy to your left and you sit there and you stop and you like, okay, I'm gonna hold up the shield, then I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna shoot, and then I'm gonna hold the shield and then stop and shoot, and this kind of thing. This is kind of time consuming, whereas the other enemy just walks up to you and kills you. So I think what you need probably is sort of a flow that a flow to the combat that's a little bit more responsive and something that works to deal with multiple enemies simultaneously. So doesn't have as much of the waiting and relying on the shield the way that you do. I mean, there's endless ways to pull that off. It's hard to describe it in a general way, I guess, but I hope you can get the idea what I mean. That some other ways to deal with things would be helpful here. So the one at a time dealing with these enemies is working fine so far. Oh. Alright, I'm afraid of like respawning right on top of that enemy, and that would probably be bad. Let's see, all I really need is this key down here. Oh, oh. Oh my gosh, what the heck hit me? I don't... Something with those melee attacks. I don't know if I'm like... Maybe I triggered one of them to throw out the melee, and then like ran out of range, and then like by the time he finally threw the melee, I like ran back into it or something. Maybe something like that's happening. I'm not sure exactly. Again, I can't really tell. So this would be, you know, something an ideal you'd want to work towards is the player being able to like really clearly tell what exactly happened when they died, so that they can say, oh well, this is what I need to avoid or whatever. Right now I can't really do that I can't clearly determine what that is. So um, yeah, I don't know. That's a pretty hard part. I think I keep dying from the melee things. So I was kind of trying to cheese it a bit by just like running down, because I know that you can run through the enemies as long as you don't get hit by the melee attack. So my thought was it would, rather than trying to deal with like shooting the projectiles and blocking the attacks and stuff, which didn't seem very viable, my thought was I could run down there, and as long as I was nimble, I could grab the key, then I could jump up and unlock the door. Unfortunately, it's hard to take your fingers off of the directional buttons to hit the Q key at the right time to pick that up, and with like kind of the particular collision on the key there, so it made it a bit challenging to do properly. I'm sure it's possible to do it that way, but I didn't pull it off. So yeah, just in general, this idea of like having to take your finger off of one key to hit another, the more you can avoid that, the better. So if you can put more stuff on the mouse or something, I guess. Well, yeah, I would just go back to the idea. It would probably just be better if you could just pick stuff up by just walking over it, so you don't have to dedicate another key to it. That would solve that problem for that particular instance. And then, if you have other actions you can introduce in the game, like I said before, having like 3 different fire keys is maybe not ideal. Do something like the number keys. You could have, it's like an easy choice. You can have 1, 2, and 3 switch between the different ammo types, then just have one firing key on the mouse here, and then you could have, I think it'd be nice if right click was the shield instead of what you're doing here. I think that would work well, and then of course it would be even better to have the gamepad support. Some more ideal controller input option for this kind of gameplay for sure. Guess I'm gonna try this one more time. I'm not really expecting to play this much longer. So I'm noticing if you you can press like the fire buttons while you're holding the shield, and then we get this kind of glitchy animation. Oh, whoa. Alright, so as far as the enemies throwing this melee attack when you get in range, wow, did he just walk into the wall? Oh, no. And have my fingers ready on the buttons here to deal with that. Why did I die? Did it overflow or something? I just suddenly died. That was weird. I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I think I've included this enough, given some feedback. I think one more thing I'll say is in terms of like the general movement of the game, like the very fundamental stuff, like just the physics, especially like interacting with the walls and stuff, how you kind of stick against the walls and you kind of collide with the floor a little bit weird when you land and stuff like this. This is all stuff that's been done, like it's been done so many times. There's like tons of tutorials and stuff on the internet about like how to program this stuff in ways that work really well and that feel really solid, which I would suggest just dig up on Google. Some stuff about that. It's just general stuff that can kind of apply to any language or engine or whatever, and that'll help you out a lot. Just getting those fundamentals nailed down. Even stuff with a camera. You know, it's just basic platformer stuff. So there's tons of tutorials out there, and that will just make the whole game feel a lot better in general. So that I think would help a lot. I kind of like the lack of inertia with the left and right movement, which makes things really responsive. Most people don't go for that these days, but it can be kind of nice. You do move pretty fast, but maybe a little too fast in terms of the sprinting, but still feels pretty fun. It feels pretty good, so that's cool. Yeah, interesting idea. I like the idea of like blocking things to get resources and then managing your resources like that and stuff. It's pretty cool. So hopefully you found this video useful. And yeah, I highly encourage the idea of like making enemy projectiles slow and player projectiles nice and fast. Really no reason why you should ever assume that they need to be the same speed. Just give the player the powerful version, and then make the enemies like easy to deal with, and that just makes everything feel a lot better. So yeah, hopefully this was useful. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll see you in the next video.